I haven't posted anything in a while, so here goes. Most of the content is repetitive, and it's black pill in nature. I don't know if I said it before or not, but no one even told me about this. I came to similar conclusions on my own, and then I found out about black pill through my searching the internet to see if any other guy had relatable outcomes in life. I first came across the term black pill in 2024. Or maybe I just didn't pay it much attention before 2024. And now it's gotten even more mainstream attention. And a lot of people refuse to acknowledge any of its arguments.
Incels are not real.
100% disagree. Incels are real.
No, you are not involuntarily celibate. You just hate women and feel entitled to our bodies.
But they're real.
Let me explain, okay? Women don't not want to sleep with you because you're a nerd or you play video games or you think you're ugly, okay? That's not the problem.
Ugly is in.
Yeah, it's not because you're ugly, okay?
Wait, does incel stand for involuntary celibate?
Yes, what did you think it stood for?
What's some good advice for an incel?
It's like they're on land and they're like, why can't I catch any fish? Get in the water and put out something that I want to eat. Like from the moment we're born, women are like conditioned to be desirable to men. Have you heard of Sephora? Have you heard of
Victoria's Secret?
European Wax Center?
Brandy Melville?
This guy knows his stuff.
Women like the strong silent type.
Yeah.
So just carry a book around, carry a baguette around, wear a beret.
Ask her one question.
And get laid.
Get laid, baby.
What's your favorite color? Bang.
Bang.
Sex.
That's for you. That's for free.
It's viewed as a self-inflicted issue, that looks don't matter the most. And one of the worst things society can do is lie. Lie to men. We've been lied to our whole lives. Most men are sold fairy tales, and for the ones that seemingly do get to achieve that fairy tale ending, well, quite more often than not, they seem to be the happiest of all men, at least publicly right. We will truly never know what goes on behind closed doors. I am 25. As I show on my bio, I do use an AI voice, because I don't want to share my real voice. I dislike hearing myself, and maybe eventually I'll do a face reveal, but probably unlikely. The focus on this channel is just basically posting whatever I want, but it's focused on me trying to awaken other men to real life basically. Hence my YouTube name, Alert Mannequin. If you don't want to listen and just stick your head to the sand, that's fine too. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink that water. I try to be relatable, but I realize with the AI monotonous voice, it sounds kind of robotic, soulless. But behind the anonymity, I admit I've never had a real relationship with a woman. I've had hookups, but really they were all mostly forgettable. I wish I had that real romance experience. Kind of, it feels good, but how much of it's fabricated, just fiction to sell? For instance, the girl that recommended I watch A Walk to Remember ended up asking me for money last week, saying she'd pay back. I sent her some money, so she then asked again. At a certain point you just got to realize when a woman is just trying to use you as a beta bucks. So I just left her on read, kind of sad. We've texted for almost 5 months now. The movie I watched a while ago, just to have something to talk about with her. At first I found it cheesy as hell, but then the late plot twist actually surprised me. In the end, I don't really like romance movies, because they show something I never experienced truly, but I'd give this movie a 6 or 7 out of 10. Also important to note, the nerdy religious girl, one of the two main characters, obviously falls for a guy who treats like surprise, like a Chad. He treats her like trash at the beginning, and they end up together.
Do you want to buy some raffle tickets? Trying to raise enough money so we can buy Jefferson some new computers.
No.
So I saw you in there with Luis. And I know it can be very difficult, but maybe you should try backing into it from somewhere else. Are you gonna go visit Clay Gebhardt? That would be a no. You do know that they moved him from the hospital to that rehab place on Oak Street?
Is this your idea of small talk or something? Because if it is, your social skills need some work. No one forced him to jump.
It's called peer pressure.
And how do you know about that? You read it in a precious book?
Please don't pretend like you know me, okay?
But I do. I do. We have all the same classes in the same school since kindergarten. Why, you're Jamie Sullivan. You sit at lunch table 7, which isn't exactly the reject table, but is definitely in self-exile territory. You have exactly one sweater. You like to look at your feet when you walk. Oh, and yeah, and for fun, you like to tutor on the weekends and hang out with the cool kids from Stars and Planets. Now, how's that sound?
Fairly predictable.
Back to the lies. It does not get easier for men, as I already mentioned several times in past videos. In fact, with the circumstances nowadays, I argue that the so-called wall that women hit is rendered void by the amount of thirsty men dying of thirst out there. I even called that video the rise of cougars. So as a man gets older, and he gets physically weaker, and well, ages, we too get less attractive, and we are actually the ones at a worse disadvantage compared to women, because even if these women, especially the old grannies, even if they're being used, pumped and dumped whatever, they're still getting action. With how most old men are viewed as creepy nowadays, good luck.
At 35, this is specifically for men. This is a ginormous scope, and the reason this theory has been getting more and more popular is because, let's face it, a lot of the Gen Zers, we missed out on our prime. A lot of the Gen Zers right now, we're going through our 20s, and we're getting no bitches. So you're basically at your biological prime, which is, let's say, 25, I would say. This is where most athletes are at their prime. You're around 25, you're single, you're not getting any attention. And so you cope. You tell yourself that when you're 35 and you're a millionaire, then that is when you're going to get all the girls. First of all, you don't need that much money to get girls. So I just want to destroy that cope real quick. Like, if you have your own place and you make a decent amount of money, that's really it. You don't really need that much. It's even less if you're a student. As a student, you don't even need any of these. All you need as a student is you need to look good and you need to live in dorms. So you do need your own place, but that's it. There's a lot of these self-improvement gurus talking about owning villas and Ferraris, and that's all copes, dude. They're all coping to compensate for their bald heads. I mean, think about it. Your average frat bro is way poorer than some of these self-improvers, but they're pulling way higher quality women. Like, it's not even close, right? And my point here is that, yeah, maybe your financial peak is going to be at 35, but definitely not your biological. H-pill hits us all, so definitely get to whatever you want to get to as soon as possible. Our next up is a woman's job. So I know this sounds very random, but I keep hearing this more and more recently, with the whole uprise of girl bosses and stuff. And we actually also had a class that showed us an article which said that the vast majority of women, even if they make a lot of money, they still prefer, their men to make even more money, which then, we came to the conclusion that the job that women have is largely irrelevant. And, of course, a lot of the girls in my class were kind of upset, I guess you could say, about this fact. All of the guys that I talked to, I've pretty much agreed with this. Like, I'm pretty sure nobody really cares about the job of a girl, right? Unless, like, I'm missing something. When I'm lawyer maxed, for example, I'll happily date some barber or some waiter in a hotel. Now, a normie is going to call this a power imbalance, right? That's like the buzzword they keep using. But the reason most of these relationships keep failing is because we keep chasing this whole 50-50 dynamic, which that is like the huge issue. You need a power imbalance. This isn't just me saying this. Like, studies literally agree with this. 71% of Americans say it's very important for a guy to be a good financial provider, so to be a beta boxer, whereas only 32% say the same for women. Men in particular, they place like a very low value on how much a woman earns. All those normie issues, like, I don't know, who puts the toilet seat down, or when the wife becomes mad, the guy has to sleep on the couch. All these normie issues, right? This is how you avoid all these issues. It's by having a power imbalance. Like, for example, look at this dude. He wanted to buy a car, and the car cost him about $12,000, but he bought the car without the permission of his wife. Now, I do agree that you should definitely like communicate things, but the way this post reads, it's almost like asking your mother for permission when you're a child. And this is how most relationships, unfortunately, are in the West. A lot of guys see these couples, these marriages, and they think, oh, I wish I had that. This is how the majority of marriages are. I'm not kidding you. The wife controls everything. And the reason she controls everything is because you went into this relationship with this whole 50-50 mindset of, oh, we're all equal. Everyone's equal. All right, let me tell you something about equality, all right? This is what equality has turned us into. These insane divorce rates in the modern day and age is the result of equality. This is the whole, oh, we should be, 50-50 partners. We should be equal. Like it doesn't even make sense. Like just think about it. The ship always has one captain. The ship never has two. But anyway, I don't think most of you would disagree with this. It's just a cope that I keep hearing in university. Next up is there.
Women try to dismiss the sex aspect, that it's not important. But that is because they live in a total different reality. They can get it whenever they want, obviously. So in their minds, they're unable to grasp why men place such importance in it. Most women are the ones drowning in abundance while most men are the ones dying of thirst. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I largely agree with, includes sex or love and belonging as one of the important foundations for a happy human. But if you take a look at more recent pyramids, some just move it further up, as less essential. Clearly by design, that's all I'm going to say. So to shorten this video, clearly men are told all kinds of lies, that at this point in time, 2026 is being challenged and unraveled. The media tells us something, but we experience otherwise. Women tell us what we need to do supposedly to attract them, but then most men are unable to attract them anyways. Until next time, guys. Thanks for anyone who watched this.